Hey, what's up everyone? Bit of a showcase video today. So I finally managed to collect all the Marvel Dragons and I'm super happy with it. I received the FFXIV in the mail last week from a dear friend of mine in Switzerland who managed to trade these with me and for some Monarch stuff and stuff like that. So I finally have my dragons complete, and on top of that I also managed to pick up a cold foil Blood of the Drakai, which I have right there. I managed to pick this one up at the Pro Tour in Lille, which is super nice. I got this one for, I think I paid €250 for this one, which is a very nice deal for a card like this in my opinion. Like, it's a lot of money, especially for someone like me that has a very limited income, but I just absolutely love the Uprising set, and it's one of those sets that I just want to complete. I want to have every single cold foil in the set because I just love the set. I really like Dromaya, like Fire, and I like Icelander, so I was more than willing to pick this one up. On top of that, I managed to get one Marvel now, which took me quite a while to get, but I finally have the Marvel Reiner. Let me see if I can try to get it out of the binder, and let's take this one out of the sleeve a bit. I do have them in the inner fits because I don't want water damage coming to these cards at all. This is a Spanish Reiner, and I was able to get this one in a trade. I think I traded 2.5 Monarch booster boxes for this one, the first edition ones, which was a very sweet deal. But my friend and I, we have been helping each other out a bit by like giving each other, like for example, I gave him the playmat that I got at the calling in Madrid, and in return he was able to get me a sweet deal on this very sweet Reiner Marvel. Reiner, of course, isn't really a hero that I normally play because I am a ninja main and I do dabble in a bit of Runeblade and Warrior here and stuff like that, but I am happy to have just at least one Marvel in my collection. This was the only one that he had spare. But if there's anyone out there, if you want to trade my Reiner for your maybe your Viceroy, your Katsu, or your Dorinthia, reach out to me. We can probably make something work. And if your card is worth more than mine, I can probably add some stuff in to make the trade work well, some promo stuff or some valuable stuff in general. So reach out to me, we can make something work out. So as for the Pro Tour, I went 3-4 in the Pro Tour itself. I went 2-1 in the draft section, and then I went 1-3 in the CC section, which isn't great. One of the things that contributed a lot to my losses is that even though my Dorinthia had good matchups in the Pro Tour itself, I just kept on bricking. Like, I just kept on getting like full red hands, full blue hands, hands that, like the kind of hands you don't want to see, like having glistening steel blades coming together with steel blade supremacy in multiples, like 2 glistening steel blades and then 1 steel blade supremacy and a blue, which are hands that you cannot really do anything with. Of course, you can force your opponent to block it all out by playing the steel blade supremacy, but then you still have your glistening steel blade, so I had to pitch that one, and then it just was a bit of a mess. I did manage to get a win against a Dash player, which was kind of nice, but well, the deck was kind of designed to hunt those decks that had a very good matchup against Fire, against Dash, against the Runeblades and stuff like that, so a bit unfortunate there. I did make day 2 because I did go 3-4, but I did some quick calculations based on the people that didn't drop, and I realized that I needed at least 6 wins in day 2 to even make it into the top 64, and I thought to myself, that's just statistically so improbably, and probably just better off going to the calling in the next day, which is the exact thing I did. So I signed up for the calling, I went and joined the calling, and my very first game was a Prism matchup, which again is my worst matchup with Dorinthia. Somehow, against all the odds, I managed to beat the Prism, which is something that doesn't happen all that frequently as a Dorinthia, but I managed to do it by keeping the auras off the field that I know will win them the game, and then focusing on getting as much damage in as soon as possible with Dorinthia's giant sword attacks, and it worked out. Somehow I won that game. Then I ended up against a Fatigue Bravo, and I was thinking like, oh my god, here we go again. Like, Fatigue with Dorinthia, it's just a horrible experience. I somehow managed to beat the Bravo again, like I was doing very well in that matchup. I managed to get 5 counters on my Dawnblade, but the Bravo just managed to block it out with equipment and a well-timed staunch response, pitching 6, so I think they blocked a total of 18 that even with multiple reactions in hand, I just couldn't get over, so I lost all my counters. But I did manage to get them down to 16 life, I believe, while I was still at 40 life. But they struggled away all the way back. Like at some point we were both at 4 life, I believe. I was able to eventually push that last bit of damage and win that matchup. I ended up against a aggro Lexi. After that was a lightning Lexi, very cool deck, had a very cool combo with things like Flash Freeze, giving Dominate and the 3 additional damage to everything by fusing it with a Pulse of Volthaven. I had that player at 10 life, but then I just got completely just got completely OTK'd, even though I was still at 27 life by that Flash Freeze combo. I've been replaying that game in my head. I could probably have stopped that turn somehow by paying for the Dominate, but for whatever reason that did not occur to me, and I stupidly lost that game as a result. And then after that, I ended up against a all team, which is a horrible matchup. I lost that one without even standing a single chance. And then I ended up against yet another Fatigue Bravo, which I also lost because that Bravo just kept on blocking out everything and I couldn't really do anything at all. Even saving up my combo pieces in my arsenal and then going all in, it just didn't work out. So I decided, you know what, I will just go home, I will have an early rest, and I will just start working on my YouTube stuff again, like I always do, because my YouTube schedule, it's quite busy, I have to say. There's always new stuff to explore when you go through these datasets, and I'm still working on a way to optimize the datasets that we keep getting from Flesh and Blood Online on top of the datas that I get from tournaments, so that we can have a bit of a better overview of what is top tier and what isn't, and maybe be able to calculate it in a clever way. But there's never enough time to get anything done, especially with things like coaching and stuff as well. So when it comes to the World Championship, I do want to go to the World Championship, and I'm really trying to find a way if I can somehow top the nationals to get a PTI, because for some reason I managed to dodge PTIs all year long. I never managed to get a PTI that I can claim a Worlds entry with. I thought I was safe in terms of lifetime XP by being in the top 50, but there's a lot of people that are grinding very fast right now, so that is not really certain anymore. I'm currently number 47 in lifetime experience, and there's a few players that are getting a lot of experience at a very rapid pace, probably because in the local scene they have a lot of, a lot of armories that have multiple rounds available to them, while I'm stuck in a relatively small player sphere that only has like 3 or 4 rounds per event, and not that many events around to really do any proper grinding. And on top of that, online events aren't really much of a thing anymore, so I'm a bit worried that I might not get a PTI to join the World Championship. So if you have a PTI spare and you want to donate it to the channel, please do so, then at the very least I am able to go to the World Championship without worrying. I managed to put a bit of money aside to be able to pay for an airplane ticket going there, and I would love to meet a bunch of people at the World Championship, and I would love to be able to participate if I have the chance. If it's just going there for a calling, however, I'm not sure if it is worth traveling that far, because even though I have the money right now set aside to go to the event, when it comes to actual savings, I only have like 300 to 400 euro savings left at this point of time, so like other than the money aside for going there, of course. So I still feel it's a lot of money, and if it's just a calling, it may not be financially worth it to make the trip, but I will need to think about it, how that will go. As for Dorinthia, I think Dorinthia now with Prism being Living Legend is a very solid deck to navigate, but do keep in mind though, All Team is the deck that is a absolutely horrible matchup for the Rentian with Prism gone. Ultim is going to be a top tier deck now, I think. I think Ultim is definitely going to be S tier in the near future, so maybe the Rentian won't even get a chance to shine in the current format, so we need to wait and see how that is going to play out. But I think overall, other than Ultim, she has a very solid matchups against most of the meta, and I will be doing a deck tech on the channel pretty soon. As for data, I will be covering the Blitz data this week or so. I got the Blitz data set from fleshandbloodonline.com again. If you want to add to the data set, go play some games on that website. Play good decks, play whatever you want, just get more data for Blitz on there so that we get a better overview in general. And for CC, I will probably wait until we see the ban list on the 30th. I will maybe do a reaction video. It depends. I'm not really a huge fan of reaction video. I did have some people asking me to do more reaction videos in general, but I just feel it's a bit cringe to do those kind of videos. But let's see what that does. Now we can wait 2 weeks to see how the format evolves after that. Anyways, I'm super happy I was able to pick this up, and I will see you all soon with a data video. And thank you for watching. If you want to support me, patreon.com/KuganeGaming, or you can buy a playmat over on KuganeGaming.com. Take care.